Hey everybody, it's Pal Drew Dracy again, and I'm going to go right to the comics from my spinner rack. No preamble or pre-ramble. Crystar, Crystal Warrior. Back when I was a heavy set collector, a heavy collector. I'm heavy set now, but I was fairly thin way back in the Stone Age. Crystar Crystal Warrior. I had this thing where I would pick up the first issue of any Marvel book. It was in my pull list, so a lot of times it wasn't much. It wasn't even like for money. Like when I bought Howard the Duck in 1976, I liked it, but I traded it to a friend, and then all of a sudden it shot up to $10, and it was even on the news. And my dad gave me so much shit for it. He was like, "Why didn't you trade that?" Blah, 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 blah. And it once in a while he'd bring it up back. So it wasn't so much that I wanted to say, "Oh, this is gonna be the next big thing. I'm gonna make a lot of money." And I just wanted to collect number ones to see what was going on. I'd get like Shogun Warriors. I'd get, Man Thing when it came back with Chris Claremont and Jim Mooney for like 11 issues. Just odds and ends. So I got this. Love that cover. I don't know who did it. It looks sort of Earl Norem-ish there. This is interesting here. Distributed by Marvel Entertainment Group. You don't see that much, and I don't understand how that works because there were a ton of distributors of comics in the day. Maybe they were testing the waters for what would happen a decade later when they were going to do when he bought Heroes distributor. This is 1983. Get in there. Ta-da. Okay, it is. Okay. Brett Blevins on the art, and Mary Jo Duffer is the writer, and the concept creators are Ralph Macchio, Mark Grunwald, Jim Shooter, and Romita Jr. that designed the characters. And special thanks to Doug Palumbaum, Bob Harris, and Louise Jones, aka Louise Simonson. So Joe Duffy did more of the script and the plot, and I've always enjoyed her work. So here we go into the Wild Boo Yonder. Boo? I'm going to go record. So this is one of the early Brett Blevins books. He kind of came into his own when he did Doctor Strange during the Peter Gillis era, and he also did New Mutants for a while as well. And this is backstory. That's a great face, great looking face. So even though Vinnie Collette is inking it, it seems to match this early style. Later on, Brett Blevins sort of took on his women would be slightly elfin looking as far as features and such. I mean, he didn't give them giant ears and 2 feet tall, but this is pretty interesting. There's a lot going on. One thing that's weird is Romita Jr. did his designs, but if you look at Romita Jr., not Senior, that's great. The bad guys look like they stepped out of Avengers number 5 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in 1963 or 4 or whatever it was. Like Molto was the one guy's name. So I don't know if they intended it to tie in that way. Maybe that subterranean molten stuff was part of the. Let me see. Is there any toy tying with the Indicia? There we go. Let's see. Oh, it's Marvel Comics. Huh. How about that? I think they came out with a toy line too that didn't last very long, but I've heard people say, "Oh, Bob Larkin, there we go." God, he was great. Did so many comic book covers, magazine covers, and pocket novels for Marvel. Yeah, they actually came out with a line of toys, and I guess they didn't succeed. Next, we go to Giant-Sized Defenders. Beautiful, beautiful. Gil Kane cover. kind of similar to the Marvel feature that first featured them, except we got Silver Surfer bonus. Silver Surfer strikes again. This is after several issues of tryout books, or dipping the toe in the water. There was give me a second. There was the last issue of Doctor Strange. He didn't last very long when he got his own solo title in 1969, but his crossed over to Submariner, who was about 22 issues into his book, and then it crossed over to the Hulk. And then a little later, like a year later, in Submariner, Roy Thomas wrote Titans 3, which was Submariner, Hulk, and Silver Surfer, I think. Yeah, and they were fighting the Avengers. I don't remember why. They all had beef with the surface world and stuff, and so he was just setting up the stage, and he probably didn't even realize how far he would take it. And beautiful, beautiful Jim Starlin art, inked by Al Milgrom. They were a team for about a year on Captain Marvel, the Kree Captain Marvel, and they were a perfect team. And they both lived in Detroit, I think. They were somewhere like that, maybe Ohio. So they've been pals, and Tony Isabella is the writer. However, it's a very short story because it's mostly reprint, because it's the Bronze Age way to do things. But, as a kid, you don't care. You're new to all this. So you got the really cool. That's kind of a weird. This is such weird poses. It's like, is she going to ask me or no? Is she going to ask me or no? There is the Hulk going back to his early days. Nice thick book. Issue 3, which was broken up into 3 stories. One had the Ringmaster. One of them was banished from space, and then the other one was I don't know. You got classic Kirby and Dick Ayers, and takes off. They came. Lucky I was able to replace this shattered steel ramrod. Like, yeah, not a problem. Hey, but it's just comics. You move along, and there's these little what do you call vignettes in between backstories. There's Prince Namor, drawn and written by Bill Everett in the 50s, which is actually, I would say, the peak of his Submariner years. Go back to Starlin, and goes into To Catch Magician. You gotta think like a magician to catch a magician. Beautiful story by Ditko. Now we get an actual battle that culminates from all these different things, and it's a really great way to do it. Then reprint from let me see, Fantastic Four Annual number 4 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and there was still no reference to Zenn-La, and there was no lead in, take the character and make him like a hero that sacrificed for his country or his world. So he was still sort of a clean slate, like a robotic type character, and he falls for Quasimodo's problems, and he makes him human form. That's so beautiful. And Quasimodo, he's not appreciative at all. So good stuff. Now we go on to something I had forgotten all about. I just picked this up today. Doc Savage. I really recommend this. I really do. Denny O'Neil writing. It's not Joe Kubert. It's the sons. It's Adam and it's Andy. And this is 1987. I mean, this is before they became names. I mean, any true artists and comic book artists and that, they recognize something exceptional, even if it's not like an image book or something. That's I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying, comic fans and art fans love their stuff more in the early years, and later on when they did X-Men, they kind of got into the image style. It was still great, but this was really, really pleasurable. It was, oh yeah, it's DC, and that's the splash from. There's a famous photograph after D-Day. The war was over, and some strange blonde and strange sailor, kissed, and like in celebration. Adam Kubert, the older Andy Kubert, and they both went on to do some fantastic. Mike Carlin editing, the mighty Mike Carlin. So, and you see so much their father in the rendering like that. It's a really, really good story. And if you're a Dark Savage fan, check it out. It's really good. So much going on. And also, they did, for Kamiko, I think, they did 2 issues Johnny Quest. No. It wasn't Johnny Quest. It was Jezebel Jade, who was the villainess of Johnny Quest, but she was not 100% villainous. She was also kind of on the fence, but that's really good. I should buy that. I haven't had that in a long time. And then we get to the Prowler from Eclipse Comics, which published, it seemed like 100 books a month, by Timothy Truman. Timothy Truman, he created a company called Four Winds Productions, and he would package books and then sell them to Eclipse and some other books, sometimes even First Comics, I think. And it's pretty, it's wordlessly. This kid gets across a building, skids on down. Click, 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 click. Scott, what have you been doing? You sleep with that thing in your pillow? Always. So it's a test to see if this young kid can carry on as the Prowler, because he's way too old. And there's a lot of that going on. And what happened is they flash back to when Prowler discovered him. There's a movie, old poster of the Prowler. There's no mention of this guy's name in it in the credits, but he was just sitting at the park, Central Park, or maybe Chicago. There was a lot of Chicago references. He sees this, this kid's doing pretty good, but then somebody attacks him, takes his wallet. The kid tries to walk away. He doesn't. He goes after him, kicks some ass. And nope, they get stopped by the Prowler. I think he's the Prowler. That's the mystery, because I only have the first issue. So this kid's still thinking about, getting better grades. So yeah, I mean, those old movie posters, all these old thugs. The Prowler, I never heard of him. Yes, the Prowler, that's me. You were in the movies? No, that's just an actor. More wine. And so this guy, he's really investing a lot of time in making him vigilante. And a year and a half ago, past due bills, the old man gets his guns out. And I guess he's gonna. Yes, it is almost time. The Prowler will return. I did see issue 2, I think, at Dave's Comics, so I'm gonna go pick that up. I like to get the first issue, so I can establish stuff. And now to some Mighty Marvel Madness in the 90s or late 80s, I think. Let me see what it says here. 1990, okay. Jim Shooter was out when DeFalco started. A lot of people, a lot of old talent came back and stepped up their game, and there was just a lot more. Gene Colan came back, and just so many. But this is Sal Buscema, and he's doing really sharp art. His inks are stronger. He's doing more squared off line work. And I'm not trying to say Mike Mignola, because his stuff is like totally, Jenga stacked figures. Of course, you got to have that crazy hair that Sandman has. And the only other one I've seen live in person actually had that hair was Kramer from Seinfeld. You can on the back you can see that. So what happens? Spidey, Hobie Brown, the Prowler, Puma, who owes Spider-Man a debt, and Rocket Racer from the 70s. And you got Sandman, who is actually a reformed. They've all reformed from being criminals to from being bad guys. Well, Spider-Man comes out, kicks Captain America, strikes the first blow, and they're like, in some states you probably give me a medal. What do you guys think? Am I impressed or what? Are you impressed or what? By the way, it's your turn. Oh no. I hate Cersei. She's too fucking powerful. She could turn men into pigs. She could turn... It's just too... It's so ridiculous, her power. I mean, she could probably turn them all into like eggshells or something. Well, that Spider-Man, he was actually this Space Phantom. And the real Spider-Man comes back, but it's too late, baby. Now it's too late. Puma gets him. Anyone know this man? I do, Cap replies. I love they kept the design that Kirby did way, way back when. But it's like, look how sharp Captain America looks. It doesn't look like your basic Sal Buscema page. He's just really updated his style. And that's like Carmen Infantino or something. It's kind of woof. Here comes this creepy looking silhouette terror. Hey Cloud, you want us? Come and get us. And whoop, whoop. It comes to get them, but the Sandman soaks him up, but he gets tossed aside. Here comes She-Hulk. And whoosh, they put him in that magic chest again. Mignola will take everything away because his hammer's really like magic and stuff, and they hoist it away. Hoist away. And everything worked out. Really, I would actually like this lineup. Get rid of Cersei, but and also Quasar. He was too powerful to be in Avengers 2, but Mark Gruenwald wanted him in the Avengers, so I understand. That's his baby. Where would he go? Here comes, I love that classic Ditko line around the body. Your calculus of the young gods, right? Yeah, you remember me. We met a few months back during the boring ass affair of the High Evolutionary, which was those 1988 annuals. Just horrible characters. They should have just like got rid of it. Feh. So tell me what you think. Tell me what books you had. Tell me what you think you might order now that I've shown you. And your memories, like I said, and your favorite artists. And even things you don't like. I'm not going to judge you. And as always, I read every message, and I try to respond to every message. I actually pretty much do, unless it's like a definitive statement that, that somebody doesn't ask me something. You know what I mean. But this is a gem. This is a real gem. And that's all. That's all, folks. Have a good day. I hope you're feeling well. I've had a headache all day, and it sucks. I don't get headaches a lot. I give headaches, but I don't get them very often. So I hope you're doing well, you're in good health, your family's in good health, and you're enjoying comics. This is a pretty golden age of comics as far as buying back issues, because the new ones are too expensive. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've been in the biz a long time, and they are, if you adjust the, what is it, the just for inflation or whatever they call it. The comics should be a lot cheaper. But anyway, that's all. So let me know what you think. There's Crystar Warrior, pretty cool book. I'll have to probably get issue 2 and more because I like what I saw. All right, now goodbye. And thank you so much for subscribing and liking, and that just means the world to me. And that's all. I got even more books coming up soon. Take care, everybody.